festivities. If you can direct your attention to the stage, please. How was dinner? Everybody, dinner was good. Surf and turf. Dessert was a round of applause for our staff here at the MGM. Unbelievable job. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much. Such wonderful hosts. Couple things. We're going to, of course, have Juju Chang speaking here in a minute. If you can all sort of continue enjoying dessert, but simmer down just a little bit, Trying to simmer down. If you can tell, I'm also trying to stall. No, okay. And a quick reminder, we are on Twitter. So there's a hashtag APACC 2014. It's a very nice feed, beautiful pictures, really enjoying all of your pictures. So yes. What else do we need to do here? Just a few housekeeping things here. I want to remind you that our silent auction bidding will stay open through our dinner program until 9:45. If you have a bid, you got to make sure to check that. You know people are sniping those bids, so check your silent auction bids. That goes till 9:45. Again, the Twitter hashtag is hashtag APACC 2014. And please follow APACC on Twitter at APACC, APACC _Detroit. And we'll be making tweets throughout the night. So how was your dinner, really? I mean, what was your favorite part here? Is it? Okay, hold on a second. I just want to take a little poll here. Okay. By applause, you know, we're gonna go salad, main course, dessert. I just want to see what your favorites were. Okay, so we'll go with the salad. Who liked the salad? Thank you. It's good to see all you vegetarians out there. Wonderful. Okay. Who liked the main course? That was my favorite. That was my favorite. And could you even touch the dessert? I mean, it looks so beautiful. Yes. Yes. Diet starts tomorrow. Yes. Okay. Oh, and real quick, I just wanted to tell you guys a quick story here. Well, no, before we start, if you've noticed, this is a black tie affair, but we have some beautiful cultural outfits here from different countries all over the world, all over Asia. If you have an outfit on, stand up for a second. I just want to give you guys all props. If you've got an outfit on, yes, beautiful. Look around, beautiful. Very nice. Okay, so this year, APACC is fortunate to have Ms. Juju Chang speak about her experiences as an immigrant. She is the daughter of immigrants, one half of an interracial marriage, and the mother of 3 Jewish-Korean Americans. She's a journalist who's also fighting for diversity, not only in our coverage of journalism, but public opinion. So to introduce my colleague Juju, I'd like to invite one of our keynote speaker sponsors, Christen Industries, Sock Co, to do the honors. Mr. Co.
Thank you, Floor. Thank you, Andy. On behalf of the law offices of Rona Lum and Associates and Christen Industries, I have the honor and pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Ms. Juju Chang. Yeah. Now, her complete bio is in your program, but I just wanted to touch on a few highlights. So, Juju Chang has covered numerous groundbreaking events as they happen in our nation, but also global events and social issues that resonate with various ethnic communities. In addition, her on-the-tom profiles with celebrities include Rod Stewart, Celine Dion, and Carrie Underwood. Throughout her career, Juju Chang has received 2 Emmys for enlightening news coverage. She became the first Korean American in a prominent role on a U.S. morning television show when she joined Good Morning America in 2009. She contributes news stories and segments for the show in addition to her role as a news anchor. Again, born in South Korea and raised in California, Juju graduated with honors from Stanford University, not too shabby, with a BA in political science and communication. At Stanford, she was awarded the Edwin Cottrell Political Science Prize. On a personal note, I found out this evening that Juju is also a nationally ranked swimmer, or when she was 12 years old, but she's also a triathlete, and in fact did a triathlon to raise money for Haiti. Right. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Juju Chang.
Thank you, Sok. That was so nice of you. Wow, you can hear me right now, so I shouldn't say anything, because we can be overheard right now. I feel compelled. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I'm thrilled and honored. But as a journalist, I feel compelled to correct the public record on the whole record-setting swimmer and triathlete, because that sounds really good on paper, but in reality, I was 12 when I was a nationally ranked swimmer, but it allowed me to become a triathlete later on in life. I went to cover the earthquake and the devastation in Haiti, and I saw all the children without schools because all the schools had been destroyed, and I thought there's got to be something I could do. And I figured, as the classic, working mom, I had a few pounds to lose. And so I wanted to embark on an exercise regimen. So I decided, I'm a swimmer, I can do a triathlon, there's one coming up, and I got a bunch of people on Good Morning America, my friends, my colleagues, all sorts of folks, to bring and raise attention, raise money, and raise awareness for Haiti. We raised a bunch of money. And the triathlon is not like an Ironman. It's like a 500-yard swim, a 12-mile bike, and a 3-mile jog. So it's very human. It's not superhuman. But we raised a lot of money for UNICEF. And of course, the UN came back to me and said, we'd like UNHCR, which is the Human Rights Committee on Refugees, said, we'd like to honor you for the work that you did for the triathlon and the fundraising. I said, no, I don't deserve an honor. I just did this thing. It was nice. And then I thought about it, and my mom, who was a teenager when the Korean War broke out, told me a story about when her family fled the North Koreans and went to the South, and they didn't have school, that she went to school under these blue tents. And only later did she realize that those were UN tents that were educating Koreans during the war. And I thought this was the perfect way of coming full circle. So I accepted that honor. And that all came out of my swimming and my triathlon. So I thought I'd share that with you. As I said, I'm thrilled to be here tonight. I think that when you think of Asian Pacific Islanders, I kind of envisioned a room of 600 Asian American folk. But I look out and I see a rainbow coalition, and I'm thrilled to be here because, my husband recently went to Gloria Steinem's 80th birthday celebration, and they make note of the fact that it's not just women who made feminism possible, it's the men who helped in that coalition. And I feel like whenever we talk about Asian American progress, we have to look at our non-Asian American colleagues who help make that progress possible. And so for that, I thank you all for being here tonight. And when you think of Asian Americans, you think, what? Koreans, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Samoans, Indians. There is a very different umbrella when you think of Asian Americans. The one thing, though, that I think that we have in common is the immigrant experience, which we, of course, have in common with every immigrant, with every American in this country. And I had a number of great conversations with a number of folks before the dinner started, with Jamie Sue, who told me about his immigration story, and with Sok, whose family immigrated from Korea, and with Seema and Chris, who immigrated from India, and Andy Choi, whose parents hailed from Korea. And what we all have in common is that we either came from or are ourselves immigrants who made great sacrifices to come to this country to make a better life for our children. And that, if anything, is what unites us, and that is what brings us together to this glorious ballroom tonight. So just last night, I was anchoring Nightline. We had the Barbara Walters interview with V. Stiviano. I don't know if you saw it, but it was quite the exclusive. We had Diane Sawyer's interview with Louis C.K., which was both hysterical and enlightening. But afterwards, I got in a cab. Actually, I took an Uber. How many of you take Uber? Yeah, right? So as I often do, I'm chatting with the Uber driver. My kids love to make fun of me because I'm always chatting. Because I think the taxi drivers almost always have a cool immigrant story to tell me, so I'm chatting. And at one point he says to me, "So where are you really from?" And this is a conversation I have a lot with people. And so I was just toying with him. I said, "Oh, I'm from California," knowing full well that that's not really what he meant. And he said, no, but where are you like really, really from?" And then I told him that I was born in Seoul, in Korea. And actually, funnily enough, last night he said, "Oh, I was so sure that you were Asian." I don't mean to make fun of him, but it was very funny. I laughed out loud, too. But I've had this conversation in many forms with a lot of people, and you know, they don't mean to imply that I'm not American, and yet that is what that question means, really. It's like, you're not really from here. Where are you really from? You're not really American, right? But every time during my 25, I hate to admit it, years at ABC News, when I travel to a small town in Kentucky, or I go to a trailer park in Texas, or a farm in Iowa, I am often one of the first people of Asian American descent that these folks are ever encountering in real life. And so I've been asked questions like, "Can you really see like everything through slanted eyes?" I mean, literally, that's a legit question somebody asked me. Or like, I often get asked, or I often get told, like, "You speak English really well." And I've actually, over the years, I've come back with a good comeback, which is like, "Thank you, so do you." But again, it's very lighthearted because I know that they don't mean to be malicious. They don't mean to be stereotypical, even though they are. But I think that in light of the Sterling scandal, right, the idea that the LA Clippers owner said these incredibly heinous things on tape and that we've heard them, and the fact that the reaction has been so universally one of condemnation, the fact that he was banned for life from the NBA, and that everyone, and as a footnote, he's also a slumlord in Koreatown, just saying. The idea that it's so universally perceived as egregious, the swift and universal condemnation, tells me, I think, that racism on a certain level is maturing in this country. And yet we are all guilty of, and we all have, a certain inadvertent racism, right? A sort of subtle racism that still exists. And it's something that I want to talk about a little bit tonight. So I was surfing through Facebook, which I want to do, and there was a brand new study that came out. It was from the Wharton School of Business, right? It was reported on by NPR. Just this morning I was reading about it, and I found it kind of startling. The researchers at the Wharton School emailed 6,500, right? So it wasn't a small sample size, those of you who are scientists, 6,500 professors from 89 different disciplines, from 259 different schools, pretending to be students. They wrote an email, right? These emails sent the same message, and I'm quoting now. The only variable was the sender's name. So, for example, Brad Anderson. Is there a Brad Anderson in the room? Oh. Meredith Roberts. Lamar Washington. Latoya Brown. Juanita Martinez. Deepak Patel. Sonali Desai. Chang Wong. Mei Chen. These are all fake names, right? But they were deliberately crafted by the researchers in order to test the racial and gender biases of the professor's response, right? These are erudite, well-educated, politically correct professors. The type of student who garnered the most response? Guess. The white males. As Milkman told NPR, the professors, quote, ignored requests from women and minorities at a higher rate than requests from white males. We see a 25% gap in the response rate to Caucasian males versus women and minorities. Same exact email. They were measuring how often professors wrote back agreeing to meet with the students. It was simply a generic, like, I'm having trouble, can you meet with me? NPR's Shankar Venkatam said, and what they found was that there were very large disparities. Women and minorities were systematically less likely to get responses from the professors and also less likely to get positive responses, you know, like come meet me, from the professors. Faculty at private universities, business schools, and those in lucrative fields, read non-liberal arts, which is what I majored in, were more likely to discriminate than those at public schools. So the racial bias was most infinite. Get this. The most biased race, Asian students, which surprised even the researchers. It surprised me, for sure, who assumed that the stereotype of Asians as a model minority group would be reflected in faculty response. Well, the assumption, as well as the final data, reveal how both Southeast Asians and East Asians collectively remain a silent minority, whose mythic model minority status conceals their discrimination in the American culture. So, okay, what does this data tell us? What does this imply, right? Well, I don't know about you, but I've been to many events where very high-powered CEOs say, the key to success in business is finding a good mentor. Right? How many of you heard that? How many of you believe that, right? But the truth is that this data suggests that it's harder for Asian Americans or for women or for others to garner those mentors, at least in academia, right? But think about it. Would it surprise you at all if any of these biases crept into the corporate culture as well? It is therefore essential for all of us to see the potential pitfalls out there and to know that they might, in fact, exist. That, yes, we can all condemn Donald Sterling and his remarks, but we have to be aware that these subtle biases still exist in our world. But most importantly, and I think this is an important part of the way I see the world, is that you can't then be discouraged, right? You can't run around and say that this data proves that, you know, the man is out to get me. I mean, let's take the email to the professor as a metaphor for something in the corporate world, okay? Let's say you send an email to a colleague or a superior and you don't hear back, right? Now, think about it. Just because you didn't hear back doesn't necessarily mean that that superior is racist, right? You can't in the morning meeting shout, "You're a racist!" Because by lunch, you will, understandably and with good reason, be seen as kind of paranoid, right? I mean, the truth is, this is not something that is out there. But what you can say is, all right, I know that some of these subtle biases exist, and I have to find workarounds to find my way around them. You can't just say, well, I tried, I give up, right? You might as well show up at the boss/professor's metaphorical office hours just to ensure that you are seen, that you're not invisible, that your ideas are being heard, right? I mean, they say at the end of the day, the #1 indicator of success, and I know that I'm a parent, I have 3 sons, I think about this